Alrighty guys, I wanted to jump back in here and make a different little video. Porting is not necessarily all about numbers. How do I look at numbers? You know, your port durations or your numbers. Uh, you know, the when you start changing up your port durations, you're allowing more time for the events for the saw to happen. There's a plus and minus. You gain some here, you take some from there. And those that are too scared to manipulate or change your numbers, you can still port your saw. But what I recommend on any build that I do, my first main goal is flow. It's all about flow. If you port for flow, the power will come. Now, the port timing kind of dictates where the power will come in at. So, if you're happy with the RPM that your stock saw pulls, you know, you can do a little base gasket delete and then go in there and flow the thing, and you might get the desired effect that you're after without actually truly moving any of the port timing. And when I mean like porting for flow, I start from the intake side, work my way through all the ports and everything, and right out the exhaust. From the intake to the exhaust, I'm concerned about flow. And like on the intake, I was doing my intake, air intake side on this, and I'm like, I'll make you guys a video on it. Here's a stock setup. This is the stock setup. It's got all these little tabs and stuff. Now look at this. Look at this. It's separated. I know they separated it so they could keep the spit back from going in to the stratos. I don't care about that. If a little bit of my spit back spits out and gets sucked into the stratos, I'm just lubing my stratos. I'm not that concerned about it. I never really mess with my stratos. I never change the only thing I change on the stratos is the timing itself from the machine work. But I don't go in. I don't, unless there's like a big booger or something hanging in a port and I'm worried it might break out or something and get sucked into the saw. I don't touch the strato sides of it. And I don't. This is as close to fueling the stratos as I will get. I don't fuel the stratos. I know people drill holes, cut them out, do all kinds of stuff. My porting style, every time I've tried that, I've gotten a less desired effect than, like prime example, my taper top build 261's making 6 horsepower. The thing's a freaking fast saw. It hauls the mail. And my stratos are 100% intact, stocked, not fueled. None of that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this build. But I think they did this partially to act like a muffler, too, to kind of, you know, so you don't hear the rushing air in. But I don't like all that. Now, I know you can buy the aftermarket filter where you pitch this piece, and I think there's plugs or something that goes in somewhere. Maybe that's on another model saw or whatever. And then you can slip it on over the top of this, and it does away with this whole thing. If you don't like the foam filters, and I'm not going to run a foam filter in this. I have one. I actually have 2 of them. I've got a brand new one in a package somewhere. But let's see if I can get you. The wires are still attached. Let me pause you, and then I can zoom this in. Alrighty, it looks like it's drifting down on me a little bit. Kind of like looking through a scope. It's all zoomed in. It's all shaky and bouncy. Alright. Anyway, see what I've done? I've clipped all that. I probably could pull this off and sand all this smooth, but it's got some other imperfections that never really... You tell me... Let me pause you and back that out a little. Alright, looks like I got you 2 times zoomed in now. But you tell me this other one together. What one's going to flow more? So that right there is just going to make it more efficient to pull through everything. And then the same way, let me grab the stock cylinder. These run really small transfers. All right, these are what I call compromised transfers. A lot of people don't like to open the lowers. Well, that's fine. You can build that way. I've built them that way. But typically, if you don't open your lowers, you don't get as much fuel up there. You have a faster charge velocity. It's moving faster, but you get less fuel up through your transfers, and that's where the shorter blowdown, which shorter blowdown means longer duration on how long your transfers are open. The guys that build with super small transfers and high velocity, they're getting their power by having the transfers opened for a longer duration. Whereas, say like my 4910s have when I'm done with them transfers, they're huge. I don't need to run as much port duration on my transfers on a 4910 to get the same amount of fuel in at a certain time as a compromised transfer system. So understanding your transfer volume to the flow characteristics, really helps a lot, being able to tailor your saw to where you want it to make power at. On this, we have a super teeny weeny intake port, and we have super teeny weeny transfers. So this build will be getting short blowdown to compensate for the transfers that don't flow worth a shit, and it will be getting longer intake duration because I need more time to fill my crankcase. Does that make sense? And I'll be changing the uppers all around. On this one, I'm thinking I'm going to cut 40 out of the band. I think I can cut 40 out of the band, get the exhaust where I want it. I'm going to treat this one kind of like I would treat a work saw 346, basically. I think I'm going to lower the roof. I'm going to shrink the combustion chamber. I'm going to be lowering the exhaust roof, which is in turn going to be upping my compression. That will help with my bottom end. Some say the higher compression hurts the upper RPM. As long as you don't cross 215 pounds, it typically don't hurt the massive top end. I prefer the better pull I get with added compression. When I add compression, I see a net power increase that is above stock from every single increment in the RPM through the entire band. This is not going to be a race saw. We're going to be building a work saw. I'm hoping for a sporty work saw out of this, and I'm hoping I'm going to get more pull out of this than I do with my Racer 261. That's what I'm going to try to achieve on this, but that's just food for thought. I just thought I'd share that with you. And same thing with the, unfortunately these don't have the two-piece muffler. They're one piece, but thank God they're hollow. So doing the muffler mod, I just got to contour my piece of pipe just right and put it in there. I think I'm just gonna put a 1-inch piece of pipe, probably pitch the screen, and go in here and accentuate the stock hole and live with it. I think I'll be fine with that. That's about what I did with on my other 261, and it works fine. So yeah, so that's just something to think about. Thought I'd show you my little airbox mod. And it's so controversial. I can take compromised transfers and go short blowdown and achieve the same effect as I can with massive flowing transfers with longer blowdown. It's how you flip and flop and manage your numbers. But most important thing is port for flow. If you can make the saw more efficient, you will get more power. I'm pretty sure this is, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be building a total flop here. I'm not perfect. But I'm pretty sure the way I'm going to attack this one, it should turn into a pretty nice work saw. So that's it. I just wanted to jump in there and put my 2 cents in on that. Again, I'm not a professional builder. I am a goofball that goofs around with chainsaws in my spare time. I don't do this for a living. Don't want to do it for a living. To me, I'm out here relieving stress, stinking around with this. I know some people see it as work or whatever, but to me, this is nice and relaxing. This is my saw. I can do what I want with it. If I botch this build, I have 2 other excellent stock cylinders, and I have 2 other excellent stock pistons. So I'm hoping to make this one a real sporty work saw, torquey one, and then when I find all the parts to put the other one together, we might go a little more radical on that one. This will let me know what way these things like to be built compared to my taper top build versus this. These are a pretty good little saw. So, but and I'm doing a bunch of testing on this thing, and I'm using M-Tronics because it takes tuning the carburetor out of the issue. So, yeah. So, well, I think I'm going to call this a video. Once again, I don't say this is the right way to port or whatever. It's just my version of how I do things. I let you guys know what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, and a lot of times I show you how I do it. So, you guys take it easy, have a good one, and enjoy.